This bag is an exciting review for me because I really didn't have my eye on this piece. So after it was pointed out, this is a bag that actually I purchased and I ended up liking a lot more than I thought I would. Hey friends, welcome. Today we are checking out a beautiful piece by Louis Vuitton. This is the vintage Louis Vuitton Boulogne bag. This one is actually the size 35. We do see a couple different size variations, but today this is the size we're going to be doing a full review of, as well as that what's in my bag, try on, all that good stuff. So if you enjoy authentic luxury, I'd love for you to join me here in this community. You can also find me over on social media as well, but without further ado, let's jump in and see the Louis Vuitton Boulogne bag. All right, friends, so today I'm really excited to cover this bag. This bag is an exciting review for me because I really didn't have my eye on this piece until it was something that somebody really pointed out for me. So after it was pointed out, this is a bag that actually I purchased and I ended up liking a lot more than I thought I would. Like I said, this is the size 35. It also comes as a size 30, as we see in some other Louis Vuitton sizes. But if you go with the 35, you have that 35 centimeter measurement lengthwise. But this bag also is a little bit more narrow. So this is something that changed this bag for me, honestly. I'm not using the biggest bags nowadays. That my little ones are a little bit older. But I do love using a larger bag, and so I kind of miss that, but I also don't just need all the space. And this has kind of solved that problem for me, scratched the itch of having the big bag without having too much room, and I really, really like that. So I want to share with you a little bit of why. So first off, we have that the bag is a little bit more narrow, like I said, when you carry it. It also has the nice length to it. I really like where this bag falls. You can actually wear it crossbody sometimes, depending on your body shape and size. It has quite a few different adjustments here. We see about, let's see, I didn't count beforehand, about, it looks like about 6 or so. I'll go ahead and let you know in the comments below. I will post that for you, as well as the measurements. I have it on the longest setting right now, lengthwise, that I could wear it crossbody as well. This one right now, like I said, it is a little bit longer. If you can tell, it kind of probably goes out of the video. So I like that I can add that crossbody, or I can wear it over my shoulder. It makes it really easy to use. The other thing about this bag that was really, really fun is adding your own personal touches. I like when you can find a bag that you can add that little bit of extra touch to it as well. And these D-rings allow you to be able to do that. And it is really, really fun. This does, like I said, have the adjustable strap, and it originally comes with the shoulder pad. Now we see on vintage pieces, sometimes on the pre-loved market, somebody may have taken them off, but originally it does come with that shoulder pad as well on that strap. One thing I want to cover with you guys that tends to be kind of where we see the wear and tear on these bags over the years if we go with the vintage pieces, and why that is. One of the pieces that we see damaged most is this leather piece at the top. And why is that? That is because the zipper, we'll do a close-up later so you guys can see a little bit closer, because I feel like you're probably not going to be as close to make this make as much sense as I want it to. The way they put the zipper in actually kind of goes under that leather tab. I'm going to call it a tab, leather piece right there, leather tab that comes down just enough to where if someone was using it over the years and they kind of put it in and then they try to grab it, that it actually can pull that stitching just a little bit right there. So that's why we see that coming undone sometimes, or it might have popped a couple stitches. And even on the other side where the zipper goes through, we have the same exact thing. You're kind of pulling it down and just kind of aggravating that leather piece if you go too far. And so that is something to note. If you don't have one that has a pulled stitch, just be aware of that as you're using it. And if you do have one that has encountered that damage, or you're wanting to purchase one that did, that is something where you could reach out to Louis Vuitton. You could ask them for repair, and generally that's really not that big of a deal with leather and the stitching. That's something that can be repaired. However, there's also other people that can do that, such as cobblers and, you know, so forth. So just make sure you know that they're reputable and that you see their previous work if you decide to go that route. But like I said, that's generally a pretty easy fix on those, but that is why we see that wear and tear there more than, you know, that of other parts of the bag, mainly because just where it sits and goes. A couple other things to note too, while we're talking about the zipper, this top part of the bag, and I think it is so, so cute. I love how unique this is and how it sits. This is actually something, I'll go ahead and show you. I have all my my stuff in here right now, so for our what's in my bag. But if you take a look at it, you can actually see that the zipper can kind of get a little wavy, or it can kind of make a different shape. That is just because of the way it sits here. As you use the bag and the bag kind of pulls up a little bit, naturally you're going to see a little bit of a shift in the canvas and how it sits, but it is so adorable, friends. I think you're really going to like this one. A couple other things I want to cover with you real quick is the bottom. So on this bag, actually, I had originally, for some reason, even after I purchased it, I was thinking that that had piping on the side, and it does not. The piping is actually along the top. We see the piping that carries out throughout, but then at the bottom we have these cute little leather corners, and on the bottom you have just that canvas. So this bag is so easygoing and really easy to use. Like I said, I've absolutely been loving this as my daily bag, and I'll share with you, like I said, what's in my bag, but I found that it just sits everything perfectly. It's easy to get into, it's easy to use, and I love the options it has. So let me know in the comments below if you used one, if you love it, if you don't, if you prefer the newer version. I'm interested to hear from you all. We will also go ahead and cover, when we go to the what's in my bag, where the date code is and the heat stamp, because this one honestly can be so tricky. So without further ado, let's try it on. Let's see what fits inside and all that good stuff. All right, friends, I wanted to share with you really quick before we get started what I was talking about to just be aware of with the zipper and how to avoid doing that. When we look at the bag, we see, there you go, that the zipper actually comes up really far on this leather piece. And that's why on the pre-loved market, and even if you buy one that the stitching hasn't pulled on, if you're not careful, you could actually end up damaging it. What I like to do is just be really careful if it gets put up too high here. And then when you go to unzip it, just don't go all the way under the little leather piece if you want to avoid popping that stitch. And it's not because it doesn't fit, it's just because the stress on it can actually pull that out. But again, if you find one on the pre-loved market that you love, or if yours has that happen, it's really not that big of an issue. You can take it to Louis Vuitton, or you could even reach out to a cobbler or someone who is trustworthy to fix that. And it's really a pretty easy fix, and it's really not that uncommon. So if your bag does that, don't stress. It is very common to see happen, even on other styles of bags. So just want you to know that it'll be okay. Going into the bag, like I said, this is going to be my everyday carry, and I wanted to share that with you, as well as the heat stamp and date code, because this bag, friends, oh my goodness, some years on this bag are about impossible to find the date code, even though they're in there. Let's dive in. So this is what it looks like. It is, there we go. It's got a good amount of room, and I still have space in this one. This is how I use it every day. This is how it's laid out. So I have my phone. This one's a little bit different now. It's a little bit shorter, but that's how that fits in there. Let's see. Next I have those sunglasses and that big chunky case that I love. Those sit really nice on the bottom, and I love that this bag, the structure of it, how everything sits in it. So I can line it up, but then if I needed to stack something a little bit, I could. It just has worked out really well, and I love that. All right, so I have 2 of those pure gums. The kids have been enjoying that bubble gum, and I really would rather have a mint, but that's where we're at. The key pouch, as well as my handy dandy manicure nail kit. The 6 key pouches almost always with me. The compact wallet, and I will say, actually, after switching to this bag, I kind of want to switch over to my larger wallet. I just haven't done it yet, or one of my larger wallets, I guess I should rather say. I've really been kind of wanting to use more of the billfold style, but I haven't gotten over to that yet. So it's still on there. Have you ever switched anything in your bag and you just, I don't know, you want to switch something else and you just haven't got around to it? And another pure gum that's been in there a minute. That one's almost gone. So that toiletry pouch, this is a toiletry 15. I have the Tide pin coming out because I was constantly using it the other day. It was a rough day with the shirts. But this is the toiletry 15. This is just a vintage piece. I've had this forever and I love it. So you have you can fit just everything in there. Roll-on perfume, lip glosses, Band-Aids, you know, all the things, eye drops. What's this one? Oh, the Liquid IV. Whoop, there it goes. Liquid IV, body armor, all that stuff. It holds it really well. This is actually about the size, like I said, the Tide pin I think is the longest. I didn't want to tell you wrong, the longest I can fit in there. I have the lipstick and stuff that can fit in there if it goes a little bit more diagonally, but it fits in really well, so I enjoy that. So now the date code and heat stamp. Friends, let's see what we can do here. So for the heat stamp, you have it over on this side. Let's see if we can see it with the light. The heat stamp is a little bit easier to see generally. Can you see that? I hope so. The heat stamp's right there. For the date code, we have a couple different things to look for in these bags depending on year. Where you're going to look, because I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, is over on this side on the inside. So, well, either or. One of the sides on the inside, and it's generally going to be right there. When you look, it could be a couple different things. So it could be printed on the bag, or it could actually be stamped into the lining like we've talked about previously on either of those sides. So like you have one side that has the zipper and then the other side does not. Generally, it's going to be printed or, like I said, stamped with the black. If it's printed, it's a lot easier to find. However, my bags, these are vintage, and they are, these ones, what are they that I had? I want to say maybe 80s, somewhere in there. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it is stamped into the lining, so it's super, super hard to find. If you go over on my social media, I did post a picture of how to find that and what it looks like close up, because you have to get just right where that heat stamp is. And even honestly, it's hard to see unless you zoom in on your phone and do a mega zoom. I talk about that over on social media. So if you're having a hard time finding it, and even if you want to see the one I have, go and check that out over there, because it is something. All right, friends, let's go ahead and try on the bag and give you an idea on fit. This is the size 35. Like I said, it also comes in the size 30. So if you're looking for something a little bit smaller, that might be a good option for you. I personally love how this bag gives you the feel of using a larger bag, but you're just not carrying as much as some of those huge tote bags may. I can also toss this on crossbody. I am 5'5" for reference. So I know not everybody can wear this crossbody, but it changes this bag for me. It makes it so easy to use. It's adorable. I absolutely love this. Let me know in the comments below, have you guys used this bag? Do you prefer the new release over the vintage piece? Let me know. I love hearing from you all. And don't forget, you can find me over on social media if you want to connect in that community as well, or subscribe here, or both. I love hearing from you all. So drop a comment, introduce yourself, and until next time, bye friends.